All right. Let's see if this thing's on.
Is this thing
I think it
on?
is. Anyways, all right, check this out. I'm doing this artist presentation on Akira Kurosawa. You see, Akira Kurosawa, he was a Japanese filmmaker with a career spanning like 30 feature films. He was pretty well regarded as one of the best like Japanese filmmakers at the time, along with like Ishiro Honda, who made Godzilla, and Aiji I can't pronounce his last name. Fuck, another dude. He was a crazy ass director. I made a presentation on Honda before, but like whatever. Kurosawa was born in like Shinagawa, Tokyo, back in like March 23rd, 1910. Here I got the little like seal that the city uses. Uh, he was seen as like one of the best young filmmakers before, during, and after World War II, making his major was it directorial debut with the release of Sanshiro Sugata, a Japanese martial arts film released in 1943. I'm fairly sure like he was making all sorts of information and propaganda pieces while in World War II was going on, along with like a lot of the other like directors and filmmakers at the time. But I mean, I guess that just kind of makes sense for the time. Thankfully, he's not a war criminal like a lot of other people were. But I guess that's setting the bar kind of low. He was always known to be a pretty hands-on director, really getting into all sorts of jobs like requiring the filmmaking. He was a director, editor, writer, producer for a lot of his work. He really cemented himself into the film industry after his breakthrough hit, The Drunken Angel, in 1948, a film about an alcoholic doctor and a yakuza member like falling further and further with his own self-destructive behavior. A lot of Kurosawa's work, like later work, like Seven Samurai and then later Ron, like they have like a real serious knack for movement in its shot and compositions. Banners, armies, fires, weapons, smoke, all of that stuff was used that was possible. It always gave me the feeling that like it was never ending movement. It was always just really, damn, I'm slipping like up and down, up and down. It just put more tension onto like a movie that was already like mainly action. Here's a shot from one of like the storyboards that he used for Ron. He really used this shot called an axial cut, which I couldn't get a picture of. I know I probably could have, but whatever. It's basically just where the camera moves like towards and away the subject and away like with a series of matched jump cuts or something. Another big thing he uses cut on motions. You know the one where like it goes from like one person to another, but without like changing the camera. It's just like one like continuous shot. He used to do that shit a lot. He even had this like little emblem that he'd have all his characters wear, most of his like main characters would wear on their like robes and shit. This is like his emblem. Like he made this shit. This is like Akira Kurosawa's thing. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like a ton of dudes used to wear that in like feudal Japan and stuff. I remember when I first watched Yojimbo after like weeks of bugging my friends to finally watch it with me, I couldn't help but like be drawn almost to the Western feeling that Kurosawa seemed to be putting in his movies. And I couldn't, I have no idea because it's like, but damn, this is about samurai. But after a bit of research, it hit me that like this dude was doing it on purpose. He was a massive admirer of American Western directors like John Ford. Like after tons of video games of me just playing, I couldn't shake the feeling anymore. It was just how easy you could draw similarities between like a samurai and a cowboy. Like, damn, they're both wandering outsiders, facing dangers, morality, the tradition, and all in a hostile world that won't stop to beat them down. And just like that, it's just the difference is one's in feudal Japan and one's in like Oklahoma or Texas or whatever. Yojimbo itself, specifically, what is it like based off this detective novel made by this dude called Danshiel Hammett, I think. Specifically, it's a book called Red Harvest. It basically goes along the lines of the movie where it's a dude shut up out of nowhere said, "Yo, you guys got any work?" Is like, "Yeah, we got two rival gangs and stuff," and they're like, but this shit, like even the dude, like the main evil dude that the main character's got to take down, he's got a revolver, which I think is pretty cool because it's an old looking revolver. Anyways, I've always been really keen towards this kind of stuff, feeling the tension and loneliness that a lot of these characters kind of have, even though they're just like wandering and whatnot. I don't know. I think it's the video games that melted my brain into a sugary mess. I feel like I really will try to put a lot of this work into my creative work in general, because it's always just been a thing that I've really been into, just like the serious, desolate hopelessness and whatever. It always like worked really well, and honestly, I think that's what works best. So yeah, here's my presentation on Akira Kurosawa, I guess.